Okay, here we go. What do I want to say as I start? I just want to say this, that I am a fire and brimstone preacher because that's how I was raised. And so the Bible tells us also, and a lot of fire and brimstone preachers have been corrected about this through teaching and training, because the Bible says that to season your words with salt. Okay, speaking about how to speak with people in love. And because I was raised that way, as a fire and brimstone preacher, that's the kind of preaching that I listen to. That's the kind of preaching I respond to. That's the kind of thing that makes me closer to God, is people actually pointing the finger at me and getting right down to the point of why I need Jesus to begin with. Okay. The other thing is that, again, I will say that there's a fine line between speaking directly to people and speaking as a Christian to everybody. Christians don't need, and that's where I've been failing too, Christians don't need to speak directly to everybody. They don't need to do that. Christians don't need to speak directly to everybody. They need to speak to the whole world in general, whether you're LGBTQ, or whether you're, it's race issues, or whether it's, crime, sexual issues, politics, whatever. We speak to the world as a whole. We don't speak directly and go back and forth with any particular group. If I make an LGBTQ video, okay, I need to address that to the LGBTQ community and invite them, not just fire and brimstone upon them, but invite them into the fold, invite them to repent and be saved. Same thing with atheists, same thing with stalkers on YouTube and so forth like that want to come to my channel and all like that. The message stays the same. Okay, I'm here as a Christian. If I wasn't a Christian, I wouldn't be on YouTube. Maybe to talk about sports, maybe to talk about, the bimbo that I had last night, maybe to talk about, immediate assaults that happened to me at the moment, knowing that people in the first place would agree with me. Okay, because it happens to them, and I'm saying what they don't want to say for them. Okay, and they're not Christian because, but because I'm a Christian, I say things the way I do. I talk about the issues that I talk about because I'm a Christian, but the way I say things, people don't see that as Christian. They see that as secular, and they see that as more emotion and more hatred towards certain groups of people. And I want to stress that out before we start. I don't hate anybody. I love my enemies. I love my enemies. I really do. That's the way I was trained also, to love my enemies. And speaking of loving my enemies, how could I hate on white people if I love my enemies? But as you'll see in the video, I'm going to play it through, and then I'm going to go on every inquiry. And I'm going to be writing stuff down while I'm playing the video, so I make sure I get everything. I have good reason to love white people, and I'll explain that. I think that's the first thing that shows up, is I love me some white people. I'm explaining that, and I'm explaining what my problem is with my own people. My own people. I'll call you my own people. Okay, since saying the word black is like saying the N-word anymore. I'll call you my own people. And I'll go from there, and I'll explain what's going on with me, And what I really feel, and I know that, you know, people want to act like I'm Jimmy Swagger. Oh, you just saying that because you got caught. You're just saying that because we posted you on Facebook. You're just saying that because you know that we all about to kick your butt. You know, kick my butt. You can put this video right here on Facebook, but I know you ain't. This video I'm doing right here, you're not gonna put this on Facebook because that would blow your cover. Okay, that would blow up. You know, you can put the videos on my new channel, the new videos that I'm doing on my new channel on Facebook. You're not, because why? It's pointless. And that is where I messed up too, is like, you don't say things that you don't want spread. And the way I go off on my channel, I look at it like nobody comes to my channel, nobody watches my channel, so I can just be emotional and explode and let it happen. And if somebody comes to my channel, then it's like, oh wow, I got one person coming to visit. You know, but then I find out I got 304 subscribers. Where are they? Oh, they subscribe, and then they go over to Silvaz, Crimson, Monty, and Hannibal, and my partner boy, what's his name? I forgot his name already. Carlton Winston. Yes. I really tried to take my name off the internet because I really, you know, and it's funny how I went to my Google account as well as my YouTube account and tried to erase my actual name after this little stunt that happened on Facebook, okay, where I had to remove the mob from my presence, okay. That was a good one, but that was a good, nice going, guys. Nice going. I think you didn't mean for it to come that close to home. I think you just meant for it to come close to home, but not that close. No, you went so close. I'm in a room with the doors locked with this brother, and he just tripping. I'm trying to think what happened, man. Like, did I do something to you or what's going on? And it's like, the power of a video can change everything, especially when that video is done behind closed doors and this guy don't think anybody's watching his channel anyway. He think he's talking to himself, and then he realizes that, hey, Cruz, if you want an audience, maybe you should say things in a way for people to come back, not just to get mad. If they get mad, they're not going to come back unless they're trying to come back with a gun or a sword. But you want to say things in a way that makes people come back. And you know what? The only difference between what I'm going to say now is that I'm not going to make sure my knife is sharp. It's sharp when I say things. But I'm going to cut you. Maybe I'll shoot you with a blank, just enough to make it hurt. But I'm still going to cut you. I'm still going to shoot you because I am your life applications officer, okay? And it's not my job on here, like I said on my old channel, not my job to wipe noses and put Pampers on people and pass out nipples or pass out pacifiers, rather. My job to preach the truth that other Christians, these apologists, are being soft about. You need to tell these people like it is. But some things I understand I need to season with salt. And that seasoning with salt, you know, you got to take that fire and brimstone and season it with salt. Okay, I took the bricks and I took the fire and I seasoned it with salt. Here's a plate. Eat your heart out. It's still fire and brimstone, baby. Even though I'm seasoning it with salt, which I'm going to do right here. And from now on, I'm going to season it with salt, but you're still not going to like it. Okay? Because why? Because I'm preaching to, how did G-Man say it, to the choir. I'm preaching to the choir. Okay? And he ain't talking about the Baptist church choir, you know, singing in there with Baptist robes on, praising God. No, he's talking about, when he says he's preaching to the choir, he's talking about the world out there that needs Jesus. Okay? Shout out to my man G-Man. I think y'all need to leave him and all them other people alone, because it shows you you're weak. It shows your weakness when you go after these people. Why don't you try to have a dialogue? I know Brandon Tatum would love to sit down and have a talk with anybody that's against what he says. I know that Jesse Lee Peterson will invite you to his show. Tommy Sotomayor will invite you to his show. Anthony Brian Logan will get on a panel with you and talk about it. But you know, you want to go after what you think is the little people. Okay, like me and G-Man and the other 3 and the other 10, the other 20, maybe 50, I don't know. But I see people all the time that live in shabby apartments. They don't, you know, with their clothes all over the place when they talk about politics or they talk about LGBTQ or whatever. And I don't say, hey man, you know, I'm gonna be coming to your channel and I got some things to say about you and I'm gonna share it with all these people. I'm gonna go live because I don't like your apartment. I don't like your nappy hair. I don't like your teeth. I don't like whatever. But I'll watch videos with people that just do the same thing I do. That was another reason why I went to the G-Man's channel for a while there, was because he was living like me, living in a simple house, simple apartment, whatever. You know what I mean? Talking about his life while he talks about the Lord. What's wrong with that? And these guys get on there, oh, your life is so boring. Well, hey, don't sit there and tell me you grew up in the ghetto. You grew up, you know, with all these problems. But then when people sit there and they put that in their video and they plan to extend themselves to where you're at, and they will. With the help of God, they will extend themselves. Okay, they're not always going to be like this forever. Okay? But you act like, oh, they're small because, you know, you can tell what kind of house they live in. You can tell, you know, what kind of people live around them. They're small because they haven't moved to Beverly Hills yet and lived in this expensive apartment, and they're so busy, you know, banging, you know, these college chicks, these rich college chicks. They ain't got no time to do videos. What kind of person you want to do videos? What do I have? YouTube never said anything to me about this is what your house got to look like when you do videos. This is how well you got to talk. This is how well you got to look. Okay? And you can't say nothing about this group, this group, this group, this group, this group, this group, and all like that. Don't say the N-word. Don't say this. Don't say that. YouTube never told me that. And all you people hating, y'all say the N-word way more than I ever dreamed of. And y'all say the F-word and y'all cuss like a sailor. But because I am your life applications officer, that's not going to go away. This is the scrutiny I have to go through. And you know why I have to go through the scrutiny? Here's something that I shouldn't say, but please post this on Facebook along with my other videos. You're attacking me because I'm better than you. Because you know that anybody that's focused on his faith in God is better than those who are sitting out there living in their fornication and living in their weed and a bunch of other things that really have not been completely legal yet. Okay? All right? And while they get on YouTube and talk trash on as many people as they can, and then they want to turn around and say, I'm a nice guy, I live a great life. You live a great sinful life. You live a life as an a-hole. You know what I'm saying? You just haven't found anything wrong with your calling yet. But you live your life as an a-hole. Okay? So let me do this video. And I'm going to apologize where need be. I have bad news for you. Here's a little disclaimer for you. There might be one or two things in here I feel I need to apologize for. The rest, you can post it again if you want to. I don't care. God bless you.
Roy Cruz here, your life applications officer. Number one, anyone that's been watching my channel knows that I'm not black conscious. Neither do I baby, spoil, or agree with black people. I'm so hoarse. Just wanna thank you, Lord, that I can breathe today. Oh, I can breathe. Roy Cruz. I love me some white people. Roy Cruz. I love me some white people. That's another dumb thing that black people jump. That's another dumb thing that black people jump. Roy Cruz. I love me some white people. Roy Cruz. Black. Next to every good black person is a fuck. I just wanna thank you, Lord, that I can live today. Yes, I can because of all you've done in me.
Don't make me cry. Thank you, Lord.
Now that's just a piece of the song. Look here, you stepped into drag nuts territory. I'm the mob, nigga. Roy Cruz. I'm the mob, nigga. Roy Cruz. I love me some white people. I'm superior than a lot of blacks because I follow the right culture. Roy Cruz. I'm the mob, nigga. Roy Cruz. I love me some white people. You know, I've seen these atheists act like a bunch of fags. Roy Cruz. I'm the mob, nigga. Roy Cruz. I love me some white people. A woman flashing her beauty. That's like walking in a room with dog treats. Like, why are you bringing those in here? Are you trying to tease me with treats, or what are you doing? And even clean. I think women are naive. I love Jesse Lee Peterson. I think he's got a great mind. Oh, you done. Need to watch your mouth. Need to watch your goddamn mouth. And I'm thinking, brothers, sisters, somebody know this lady. Come get your dog. Like, call off your dog, man. Get her out of here. You know.
Oh, my Lord.
Your life applications officer signing off. Give me something and I'll write a video about it. God bless you. Good night.
Okay. Oh man, lost my lid. Okay. Real quickly, black conscious. I don't apologize for that. I am not black conscious. I am not a part of woke culture. I don't believe that I'm a member of the black community. You say how? You know, I've told people this, and they flipped out and said, "How can you say you're no, brother? You ain't black? You don't understand what the black community is. The black community is not okay. I'm here in Pittsburgh, right? The black community is not Homewood, Brushton, what's it called? Braddock, okay, Northside, Wilkinsburg, okay, Reading, okay, me and a Uber driver was talking about Coriopolis yesterday, and he told me, he lives in Coraopolis, and he's hoping he doesn't have to move out of Coraopolis. Okay. And people have warned me when I will go over to Sewickley, because Sewickley is like what? You can walk from Coraopolis to Sewickley. Sewickley is a very expensive pro-white and Jewish neighborhood. Okay. That neighborhood is all about St. Patrick. Everything is green. You should see that place on St. Patrick's Day. It's super triple green. And you go in there and the place is absolutely beautiful, but there is no Walmart, there is no McDonald's, there is no Burger King, there is no Chick-fil-A. Everything is up the hill and over the cliff and back down into the shopping area before you get into Coraopolis. Okay, Coraopolis is the city part. Sewickley is where all the safety and the beauty is, and I don't know how they do it when they're right next door to each other, but people from Coraopolis don't go down there and start no trouble with Sewickley. But kind of just like up here, people from Carrick and Mount Oliver don't come to where I live and start trouble here, But I'm not black conscious, and I'll tell you why. I think you know why. I believe that is the stupidity of America for anybody to be black conscious. And you know why I'm not black conscious? Because white people aren't white conscious. Asian people aren't Asian conscious. The only time people get conscious is because of black people. That's the only time they get conscious. And I don't mean to say all black people. I'm talking about, well, to them, it's black people. To me, it's a certain culture of black people. Okay. Black people who support black politics, black people who support, protesting for every little thing, and the BLM movement and all like that. When they think that you're a part of that community, when they think that you're a part of that black community, that's what the black community is. The black community is all about these ghettos, all about hating cops, all about the Black Depression, all about, black folks to go all the way back to slavery to explain their reason why they have such boring lifestyles, okay, and such corrupted living issues, okay, whatever. That's what the black community is, and I'm not in the black community. Because if you walk up to me and you start talking about, what I'm saying, just like I went to my uncle's funeral. No, I went to my pastor's funeral. He was black. My senior pastor, he was black, and I loved him dearly. I went to his funeral, and there was a lot of white people at his funeral too, because my pastor had friends and connections all over the world. Okay, that both the funeral and the ceremony after the funeral was standing room only. I mean, it was packed. Okay, we had to shut down streets, and the city allowed us to do that for people to park. I mean, it was just crazy. But he wasn't black conscious. Oh, hallelujah. And if anybody from, my church in Homewood was looking at this video, how you explain to me how Pastor Spencer was black conscious. He had two churches. One was white, one was black. Okay. When he would go to the black church, okay, he would go to the white church and preach the same sermon. Only time he would preach anything pro-black is when somebody came to him and they told him about a situation that was pro-black, like a situation where somebody lost their house because of these rich white politicians wanted to come in there and build a tennis court there or something or whatever, build something there or whatever, and or somebody got shot, okay, for trying to sell, or delivered a Donnelly directory in a predominantly white neighborhood or something like that. Something that you could honestly tell that was pro-white, not just because it showed up in the news, but all the backlash and the people talking weren't just black. White people was talking too and casting out threats and all like that. When white people are crazy enough to threaten you and all like that, then you can really call something white, like he did when he started this white church in Tarentum, Pennsylvania. The white folks told him, they told the news, they didn't want his black butt in there. So then he would say he would preach the same sermon in Tarentum that he would do in Homewood. Okay. And starting with him growing up in church camp, all my black peers did not want to go to church camp because they were afraid of white people, regardless of the fact that this was Christian. That was the beginning of me deciding that I didn't want to be black conscious. And then, like my friend Keith that I told you about in a number of videos, well, me and him just got back together after losing sight of each other for years. We finally found each other again, thanks to Facebook and thanks to me reaching out to his brother and that. We finally got back together. We lost each other for a while there. But, you know, also him coming to Homewood when I was living there and going to church there, the racial attitude that black people had against him in Homewood. Now, this is a Christian man that loves the Lord, and here he is going to a all black church, sitting among all black people, enjoying their music, enjoying their sermon, enjoying their, you know, when they got up there and started talking about racial issues and all like that. He was sitting there, you know, nodding his head in agreement and all like that. But then they pulled me to the side one day and they says, "You think you black?" No, they said, "You think you white?" And I says, "What are you talking about?" They says, "What's up with you and Keith?" I said, "He's my friend. He's my best friend." And they began to tell me about you ain't white and you shouldn't, you need to stick with your own and all this kind of stuff. And I said, you know what? I expect a lot of white people to say the same, crap that you're saying. Except I know my friend Keith ain't like that. And that's when I really begin to be non-black conscious. When the church even can't let it go. The church lets that spirit, and that's the spirit of the devil. When the church allows you to have that attitude about, and I've heard white, and this is another thing why I'm not black conscious. I've went to a lot of churches, and I went to a lot of white churches too. And I go to these white churches, and they're always preaching about, and depending on where the church was, like I've been in racist neighborhoods. The preacher would tell everybody, "I want you to welcome my brother DeRoy Cruz, my friend DeRoy Cruz, into the church this morning." Everybody clapped their hand while they looked at me like they was crazy. And he did all kinds of things. Same thing when I lived in Hazleton, Pennsylvania. Anybody that lives in Pennsylvania knows that Hazleton was very, 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 very racist back in the 80s, back in the early 90s even. When I went to Job Corps. Now, everybody knew that if you seen somebody black, he was from the Job Corps Center. They knew that if you seen somebody black, African, Spanish, Asian, whatever, he was from the Job Corps Center. They all the minorities are together up on the hill. Okay? You don't see them in town. Now today, more white people are moving out of Hazleton like they did Homewood and all these other ghettos. Okay? They moved out of the neighborhood and all the minorities are moving in. And there's like, what, 2 to 10% white in the whole neighborhood, okay? But these white people would welcome me into their churches and they let their people know in their churches that this is their friend. But see, the black churches don't preach about racial harmony. They preach about racial victimization politics. Okay, they'll preach about, yeah, like even my church over in New Kensington. I went to Nichols Church one day, and he went to talking about grandmothers in the faith, and they did a whole sermon. He did a whole sermon on, what we went through as black people, what this grandmother went through in black people. But he did not end or begin his sermon talking about seasoning stuff with salt. He did not begin or end his sermon with racial harmony. If you're going to talk about white people, black people, you need to talk about racial harmony. If you're going to talk about black people, white people, you need to talk about racial harmony. Okay? You don't just get up there and, talk about the police shooting people and that's why I'm not black conscious. Moving on. That's why I'm not black conscious, because I spent enough of my life, like, my family didn't like my white friends, but my white friends, man, if the sink started leaking, they'd fix it. Where a lot of us black folks didn't know what to do. We stand there letting the house flood. We don't know if we need to call a plumber or what we need to do. But my white friends, they was always getting their hands dirty with black people. Whether it was surviving violence from black people, or whether it was constantly digging black people out of a ditch and helping them keep their house or keep their car or whatever. And this is not just black people, but this is in D-Roy's life. This is my story, my experience. If it wasn't for white people, I'd probably be in jail. If it wasn't for white people, I probably wouldn't have a job. Yes, I love me some white people. I do. I love me some white people. Why? Because white people have always been the most positive thing in my life. Growing up in the ghetto, sure, I can name all the black people that have been good to me, and there's hundreds of them, and I can name them all. But, okay, I don't need to talk about them as much, because that should be natural, right? But I talk about white people because after all this war and all this race war and all this BLM nonsense and all this stuff, here I am, a pioneer of racial harmony. And when I tell people that, what is Black Lives Matter? I don't know what that is. They ready to lynch me. When I tell people that, he seemed like he was trying to make peace with you, brother. He seemed like he was trying to get to know you a little bit. They're ready to lynch me. Okay? And so even though it bothers black people for me to say that, why? You don't love white people? You don't know a white person in your life that you can't thank God for? And I'll tell you another reason why I love white people. I believe they have a positive culture. I really do. It's not like, only 20% of white kids care about their kids. It's not like 20% of their white people, are taking care of the kids. No. The number is very high compared to other minorities. The number is very high as far as how white people stay out of prison, how white people take care of the kids, how white people hold down businesses and hold down jobs, work hard, and put their kids through college and do all these things no matter what it costs. Hardly ever any children out of wedlock, and if there are children out of wedlock, there's always two parents in the home. Even if the children are out of wedlock, the stepdad is going to take care of his girls. He's going to be a gentleman in front of his girlfriend's kids, okay, or his stepkids, his wife's kids. He's going to be a gentleman, okay. He's going to put her kids through college. He's going to treat her kids like they are his own, and vice versa. Okay? Every time I walk outside my front door, white people aren't just white. White people are doing American stuff. with their husbands and wives, with the children, with the front yard, the backyard, with all the minorities, with everything. They're doing American stuff. Whereas I look down the corner a little bit further, what y'all doing? What is that? That's not a reason to come outside. You can stay in the house and do that crap. You ain't helping nobody doing that. You know what I mean? Everybody's not a black thug, but Black Lives Matter should be retitled Black Thugs Matter, because other black issues, where's Black Lives Matter when other issues are happening? Okay? Okay? If I can still call the NAACP, if they still exist, that might be the only thing that can help me. But Black Lives Matter ain't going to do crap until they ain't going to do squat until a brother that shouldn't have been there, a brother with a gun, a brother with a knife, a brother doing armed robbery, a brother running from the cops, a brother breaking into somebody's house, beating up on his girlfriend, trying to kill his mama, whatever. That's when Black Lives Matter. Because the brother was being a thug and the cops shot him. And I don't really care if they shot him because they showed up on the scene and knew his background, or whether they shot him because he pulled a gun and they shot first. The point is, it's always thugs. And you out there wasting money and marching and protesting for what? If these white cops hadn't shot him, you would have shot him. But you marching and you ain't never met the guy. If you met him, you probably would have shot him. And then, who knows, ended up in jail because you ain't a cop. Okay? I say it like this. Whenever white cops shoot a thug, that's one thug I ain't got to worry about coming in my life. And you can post this on Facebook too, because it's the truth. Okay? But I don't support Black Thugs Matter. Okay? And that's what's up with that. Dragnot, my friend, my brother, my king, my mentor, my brother. This all started with you. All this, I'm the mob nigga, I'm the mob nigga. That was all between me and Drag. Had nothing to do with black people. Had nothing to do with any of my other videos or any videos I say about black people or the LGBTQ or politics of any sort. Okay? That I'm the mob nigger video was all about Drag, not Sylvester. That's all his crap. Okay? I hope I edit that. I hope I destroyed that video. Okay? I think I did immediately. I think and him and his audience had a fit about it. Oh, they was emotional. God, they was mad. Superiority. If what I mean when I say superior is, I didn't mean to say that. I will apologize 100% for saying that. I'm not superior to anybody. I'm not even superior to myself. I'm not even superior to a homeless bum, okay? Because how many times that I didn't pay my rent and I ended up out there too, okay? I'm not superior to anybody, but I am superior in my thoughts and in my culture, in my behavior, in my faith, in what I practice and what I preach. I am superior in the things that concern me that don't concern you. And that's what makes me superior to any group of people, and superior to any type of thinking. We're not equal. I always say this. We're not equal if we don't We are not equal if, like I said before, if I show up on time for work every day and you don't. You always come in late like clockwork, okay? And I have friends that did that, okay? And they got fired after almost punching me in the face, after almost getting slammed on their head, and all like that. They finally got fired, okay? And I've worked with, I'm not even going to go there. I'm not going to say that because that's bringing something else up. But the point is, equality is only equality when everybody's doing the equal thing. Black people aren't equal to white people, really, because while you are thugging, white people are going to college. While you are, putting your kids in the microwave and trying to make, a microwavable pot roast out of them or something, okay? These white kids, these white people are teaching and getting good jobs and becoming entrepreneurs and struggling, or maybe they're homeless, but they ain't doing all that. Okay, they're not out here doing, when I got mugged, all these black people walked right past me. There was a white homeless man that came and woke me up. I don't know if maybe he was trying to check me first before he robbed me. But I purposely laid down because I knew I couldn't beat him, so I played dead. He came and let me know the day was going. I could get up now, and I think he also found my phone for me, but he was afraid that UPMC police was going to arrest him because they were going to come and pick up my phone for me. And so he left it sitting on top of a garbage can. That's what I'm talking about, okay? And I think it's equality again. Equality is not equality unless we're all on one accord. Then you can't sit there and fuss about equality and you don't want to work as hard. You don't want to go to school and learn. You don't want to take care of your family. You don't want to spend the money. Okay, if everybody is going and holding up the line at Dollar Tree because they want to get all their groceries at Dollar Tree because they don't want to shop at Giant Eagle because they're such a tightwad, we're not equal. I shop everywhere. I shop at Dollar Tree, Giant Eagle, Walmart, Dollar General. God, if I had a car, I wouldn't have no money. You know what I mean? Because I shop everywhere. Big Lots, I shop everywhere. Okay, but I don't just say, I got to do all my shopping at Dollar Tree because I'm too lazy to go, get on a bus and grab a bag and do some shopping. I'm going to shop at Dollar Tree because I need all my pennies. When you work for a living or you live with people that work and they're paying your bills for you, you need your pennies. That's not equality. That's not America. That's not somebody that's trying to get on their feet and go somewhere in their life. Okay? People want to talk about my raggedy place, my little place here and that, these ignorant behind people. You should have seen my last place. Okay? You should have seen my last place. Okay? I am moving up, whether you understand that or not. Okay? And I think anything is faggish that is LGBTQ, because when men have a problem with being men, that's okay. The word is, there's a word for that in the Bible. It's not called fags. It's called what is that word? Good Lord, what is that word? 1 Corinthians 6:9. I'll get it for you. Because I can't think of the word. Let me get it for you real quick. I can't think of the word. Oh, effeminate. That's the word. Effeminate. Effeminate. And I've heard preachers use the word fag to express the word effeminate because it's basically the same thing. if you understand how people use the word fag. Now, I said that in the video, and oh God, and I called Winston, Carlton Winston that because he was tailgating me. So I went off on him about his LGBTQ behavior. Okay. That's why I called him a fag. And his whole partnership, his institution, faggish. Because what's wrong with being a man? What's wrong with being a man that loves women? What's wrong with being a man that understands that when he sins, stop justifying it by taking it out on other people that don't justify it. You know the lifestyle that you live is retarded, it's dirty, it's filthy, it's corrupt. Okay, and it ain't just you. You got a whole little thing going on there. So excuse me if I think that is the nastiest thing ever. And I think that for you to come to my channel and try to talk to me and lie to me about what Christianity is and lie on me, you lied. I found out the other lie you did today. You said that I did something. I said something to these boys to make them attack me. And that's a lie. I never said that. Also, what's the other thing said? I just heard it today. Was looking over my videos. I saw it today. You said I said something that I didn't say, or you said that I said something about something that I didn't say. I didn't say it like that. Okay. But this is why I called you names. And all of you, that goes for you, Drag, Crimson, Hannibal, and Monty, all of you. If I respond to your videos, expect me to call you names. Because if I respond to your videos, it's because I'm looking at your videos about me. And I might be Christian, but I am 100% human as well. Okay? Nobody accepts that. Go to any channel where people visited the channels where people are talking about them, and the main word is F you, mother effer. Okay? Without saying all the letters. The main words you're going to hear is suck my, okay? I don't care whether they supposed to be on the religious side or whatever. If you know what, my pastor Carmen told me this. If you don't have nothing nice to say it. And another friend of mine said this when I went through my divorce. If something keeps you from praising God, if something interrupts your happiness and your peace with God, scratch that out of your life. Scratch those people and those ideas out of your life. Everything from social media to church to work. Scratch them people out of your life. And that's the way I want to handle it. If I don't want to call you a bunch of fags, if I don't want to call you a bunch of N-words, a bunch of lowlifes, a bunch of whatever, I think of 100 things. When you do stuff like this little stunt you just pulled, I could have got shot with that little stunt you just pulled because you don't know nothing about Pittsburgh right now. These people think they still healing from Donald Trump. They think Donald Trump shot them in the chest. They so stupid. Donald Trump got up there as a Republican. The only difference is we're trying to get rid of Republican politics. But Donald Trump didn't do anything that any other Republican didn't do. But they acting like they healing from Donald Trump. While they hating on Biden as well, they acting like, oh, they healing from Donald Trump. Meanwhile, you say, oh, Cruz is a Trump supporter. I said that to one dude at my job. It went viral. People stopped me on the elevator. Hold up, nigga. You a Trump supporter? First of all, I'm not a nigger. Unless you're one too. Second of all, I am a Republican. I wasn't going to vote for nobody Democrat to begin with. I would have voted for Cruz or Carson just as easily. But anyway, I think I've cleared it up. I am DeRoy Cruz. I am your life applications officer. Thank you very much. And I cleared that up. You understand where my heart, my mind is and all like that. God bless you. I'll see you soon.